Shalom and welcome to Secrets Revealed. Mm. Shalom and welcomes to Secrets. Welcome to Secrets Revealed, or Holy Bible. Today we're looking at Deuteronomy chapter 1. It's the new book, a new beginning. There's background noise. Please ignore the background noise. That's not the point of this video, but just ignore it, please. Deuteronomy chapter 1. We have 46 verses in this chapter. Beginning in verse 1, it says here in verse 1, in the desert towards the west, near the Red Sea, versus in the wilderness. So the distinction here is the wilderness actually means desert. There is no jungle or forest in the Middle East. It's desert. That's what wilderness means. So it is saying the same thing right there. In the plain over against the Red Sea. So it's saying in the plain, not a desert. Whereas, okay, well, a plain, when you think of plain, you think of grass, you think of greenery. No, this is a desert. This has sand. There's no plantation or vegetation. Not a plantation, over against the Red Sea. So opposite the Red Sea versus towards the west near the Red Sea. Okay. In the same verse, we see here Olan and the gold works versus Hazeroth and Dizahab. So whether Dizahab means gold works, I do not know, but those are very different expressions, different words, different wording. Verse 2, we have an omission of the word journey. So they're saying 11 days from Horeb. They're not saying what that means, but it is a journey. They put in brackets journey because, again, because of the fact is the Septuagint existed 300 years before the Masoretic. So that's why they know. Verse 4. Uh, okay, this is important. I'm going to say, I'm going to open up a file. Let me just pause the recording. Okay, so as you can see in this image here, this is describing, actually, not just describing, it's showing to you very clearly that these two places, one is called Ashtaroth, the other one is called Edrei. They are two different places in two different geographical locations. One is closer to the Golan, and the other one southeast of the Golan. One is just directly east of it. That's Ashtaroth. So that's what I wanted to show you. And why I'm showing you that is because we have a big difference here in verse 4. That difference is showing us, it's describing the Amorites who dwelt in Heshbon and Og, the king of Bashan, who dwelt in Ashtaroth and in Edrei or Edrei. So he dwelt in these two locations, which I just showed you. What does the Masoretic say? It says he dwelt at Ashtaroth or Astaroth in Edrei. It cannot be in Edrei because they're different places. They're in two different locations. This cannot be true. The statement is false. So I just proved that to you by showing you that image. And you could even probably check on the map and see whether this is true or not. There's also further proof. I'm going to just reference it here. Joshua 12, verse 4, Joshua 13, verse 31. Further evidence that these are indeed two different locations and not the same. Okay, you can look that up on your own time. Verse 5, it says beyond Jordan versus on this side Jordan. So is it in Jordan or is it beyond it? Is it outside Jordan? Verse 6, let it suffice you to have dwelt so long in this mountain versus you have dwelt long enough in this mount. So the Septuagint is saying, be happy. It is enough for you to stay this long, but now it's time to leave. The Masoretic is expressing it in another way. It's saying, get out. You've overstayed your welcome. Just get out of here, is what it's saying. You've dwelt long enough, you've overstayed your welcome. Verse 7, that's the way I read it, at least. To all that dwell To all that dwell near about Araba, to the mountain, all the places, what does it say there? All, this is in the Masoretic now, saying, all the places nigh thereunto in the hills. So it's not telling us it's a name, a place called Araba. Um, it's just giving us a different place altogether. And we have an addition of in the veil that wasn't originally in the text, and it says here, "Go to the people," versus "Go to the places." So, yeah, we're saying it's saying here, "Go to the people, to all that dwell near about Araba." So the focus is on the people. You go to all that dwell, the dwellers there, not the place. Don't just go to the places. It's not about the places. The focus is the people. That's the focus. We have a big difference here in this verse as well. Let me just open this image as well. This is a very image focused presentation. So this image you're seeing right here is called the Anti-Libanus. It is the mountain range in Lebanon. Okay, that's what it means when it says Anti-Libanus. Now let's read further in the same verse. It says here, near the sea and Anti-Libanus. So that is the mountains, the mountain ranges I just showed you on the map in Lebanon. What does it say in the Masoretic? It says, and unto Lebanon. It's just saying Lebanon, not anti-Libanus. So that's a big difference. One is, again, the anti-Lebanon mountains. Essentially, what it is, let me be more specific. It is a border between Syria and Lebanon. It is of 150-kilometer range. That's this territory. It's not Lebanon itself. Okay, Lebanon itself is a 10,452 square kilometer area. Big difference, big discrepancy here. Verse 8, continuous difference. Behold, Elohim has delivered the land before you, versus, behold, I have set the land before you. No, the land has been delivered to you. It's now in your hands because of me. It's not that he set the land, it's been delivered. These are the inhabitants too. Verse 11, as he has spoken to you, versus as he has promised you. Okay, that's an interesting difference there. Verse 12, labor versus cumbrance. Bear your cumbrance. Okay, what does cumbrance mean? I have to look that up. Let me. Okay. Cumbrance means a burden, obstacle, hindrance, or trouble. So, how can I bear your trouble? No, it's your labor, it's their work. Because a burden and a cumbrance are pretty synonymous. Uh, so, labor is bear your work versus cumbrance, again, trouble. Gainsayings versus strife. That's different as well. Continuous difference of prudent men for your tribes versus whoever is known among your tribes. So they don't have to be prudent, they just have to be either famous or infamous. Different qualifications there. Verse 15, we have an addition of chief of your tribes. And it says, rule over you. I set them to rule over you versus heads over you. Just worded differently, I think. Significant difference of officers to your judges versus officers among your tribes. Okay. The next verse confirms the Septuagint is true, uh, that they aren't officers, that they are officers to your judges. Okay. Not officers among your tribes. Okay. Verse 17, you shall not shrink. You shall not shrink before the person of a man, versus you shall not be afraid of the face of a man. So it's not about people's faces, it's about this person's reputation. It's the person. You're not shrinking away from them, which is similar to afraid, to be frank. Verse 18, and I charged upon you at that time all the commands, verses, and I commanded you at that time all the things. Okay, well, they're rather similar. I charged upon you all the commands, versus I commanded you at that time. Okay. Yeah, I don't see a huge difference there. It's just expressed differently again. Verse 20, to you, I said to you, versus oh no, that's not the word. It says, you have come as far as the mountain of the Amorite, which Yah, our Elohim, gives to you. So it gives to you versus gives to us. It's not just to you, one person, whoever they're talking to. It's a multitude of people it's being given to. Verse 21, continuous difference is the word inherit versus to possess. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. It says, neither be afraid versus neither be discouraged. So they're two different things. If you are afraid, that's fear, terror. The other one is being discouraged. So it doesn't mean you're necessarily afraid. It's just you lose the fight, the motivation. Verse 22, let them go up to the land for us, versus they shall search us out the land. So one is them actually going to the land, one is just spying it out. Uh, but actually, in either case, they are looking at the land, but they are actually going to the land. And in the Masoretic doesn't seem to express very clearly that they're going in the land. They could be just looking at it from afar. But here we can see, they are actually going up to the land and most likely going into the cities too. Okay, verse 23, in addition of well, it says uh, right here, well, pleased me well. Okay, so it's actually good, not an actual well. Okay, yeah. Please me good. Uh, People could take it as a well. Some people are just strange that way. They want to make the Bible say something else. No, it's please me well, please me good. Verse 24, the cluster versus Eshkol, Eshkol. So it could just very well be a translation of Eshkol. They surveyed it versus they searched it out. Similar anyhow. 25, it says brought it unto you. Let me just correct this typo. It says here, brought it unto you, brought it to you, the fruit of the land, to the people, brought it to you, versus brought it down to us. So just Moses, the ones who are speaking. No, it's been brought, they brought it to the people. Verse 26, words versus commandment. Big difference here. It says, our Elohim, everyone's included. So you rebelled against the words of Yah, our Elohim, versus your Elohim. So they're saying, not Moses's God, not Moses's Elohim. Moses is not included. He's saying, this is your Elohim, not mine. That's a big difference. Verse 28, your brethren drew away your heart, saying, it is a great nation and populous and mightier than we. Moreover, we saw there the sons of the giants. Okay, it's pretty clear they are giants. What does it say in the Masoretic? Our brethren have discouraged our heart. They're saying it didn't draw us away. They discouraged our heart, saying the people is greater and taller than we. Uh, this the cities. It says the same thing there. Moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakims. The distinction here is not only was their heart drawn away, which can mean many things. They could still be encouraged, but when you draw someone's heart away, they're now distracted. They're focused on something else as their primary motivation now. Um, think of Solomon. He wasn't discouraged by the wives. He was just, his heart was turned away. And so that's what happened here. We also see that these are the sons of the giants. These are literal giants. They're not figurative giants. These are giant men. So Anakim, A lot of Bible students know Anakim means a giant. That's what it implies. But not everyone will understand this. They will just think, oh, who is Anakim? Okay, these are regular people. No, these are giant men. These are unusual, supernatural, extraordinary sized men. Okay, so naturally they would be afraid of these giant men. It's understandable for them to be afraid. But when you take into account who is with them, who's fighting for them, they should not be afraid, but they lack the faith. Verse 30, a big difference. He shall fight against them together with you effectually. So I was just talking about that. They don't understand the power of the Elohim, or maybe they forgot. Versus, he shall fight for you. Okay, he's going to fight for you, but what is he going to do? Well, I don't know. He's going to do something, but he's going to fight for you. No. Septuagint says it very direct, very specifically. He shall fight against them, these giants. And how? Together with you. It's going to be teamwork. You're not just going to sit down and watch God do everything. Elohim isn't going to do everything for you and you're just going to sit on your laurels. You're going to have to participate, take up your arms too, and show your bravery, show your courage. But I will be with you. I'm going to be right there, possibly in the forefront of the battle, I'm thinking. But it doesn't say that. I'm just kind of assuming that. And it says here, before your eyes. That was an addition there. That wasn't an original text. Verse 31, by the way of the mountain of the Amorite was omitted, as well as the word nursling or newborn. Okay. Um, where is that? Yeah. I'll bury you as a nursling. So it doesn't say that. And the Masoretic, they took that out. Significant difference right here. As if any man should nurse his child versus as a man doth bear his son. Okay. Well, we know men do not nurse, they do not breastfeed their children. Uh, but perhaps it's just saying, yeah, man taking care of his baby or his son. So as a man takes care of his own child, that's what he did. Okay. This could also describe woman too. It doesn't just because it says man doesn't mean it's to the exclusion of women. When it says man here, it means mankind. So as a man or a woman should take care of their child because that's what parents do. That's what they're expected to do. If you follow the Torah, you will take care of your child, whether you're a man or a woman. Okay, 33, to choose you a place, uh, sounds like a promised land, versus to search you out a place. Okay, we're just going to look for a place, some random place. No, I've selected this place beforehand. This has been predetermined. I've chosen you this place. This isn't a hunt for a place just to find something nice. No, we're not searching for it. We already found it. It has been selected. And then it says here, to pitch your tents in. So that was an addition, was not in the original text. To pitch your tents in. Okay, that was completely added. Verse 34, greatly provoked. Uh, he heard their words and he was greatly provoked versus he was wroth. Okay, you can see the intensity of the provoking there. Verse 35, an addition of surely there shall not be one. So surely was added. And then HD, um, a huge difference. I think that's what it means. It says here in the Masoretic, was added of this evil generation. Okay, where it doesn't say that. Oh, it's verse 35. Okay, I made a mistake. It's verse 35. So it says here, surely. Okay, let's look in the Septuagint first. Actually, make that the Masoretic. Okay, I'm going to read in the Masoretic. Surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land which I swore to give unto your fathers. Do I sound like a dictator? It sounds authoritarian. Septuagint, let's read that. Not one of these men shall see this good land which I swore to their fathers. Do I sound like a dictator out there, authoritarian? There's still a tinge of that, but what do I think of these men? This is what the Masoretic thinks of these men. This evil generation, they're evil. They're all evil. He doesn't think much of them. The Masoretic, I should say the Elohim of the Masoretic, if we can say it that way. The way that God is portrayed in the Masoretic is one that looks down on his people. Like he despises them. He regrets taking them out of Egypt. That's what it sounds like to me. Septuagint is not so. He says, not one of these men. So he respects them. They are men. And he doesn't say anything bad about them in this verse, in this translation. And it says, oh, actually, you know what? That's verse 36. It is 36. Okay. It says here, he, Caleb, attended to the things of Yah, of Yod He Vave. It says here in the Septuagint, I should say the Masoretic, he has wholly followed Yah. So that's saying he followed everything, every little thing, not 1% was missed. He followed it completely, the whole thing. You know what? That's not what it says. I'm not saying he didn't do that, but it doesn't say that. It just says he attended to the things of Yah. Okay, it's just being factual. Verse 37, this is a difference of semantics. Neither shall you go by any means enter, neither shall you by any means enter therein. That's what it says. In the Masoretic says you, just say the Maz, you shall not go in there. So one is saying you shall by no means you will enter there. Who's this talking to? Not one of these men, okay, except Caleb and Joshua. And Yah is angry with me for your sake. Talking to Moses, neither shall you by any means enter therein. So this is talking to Moses. Yah is talking to Moses, addressing him. But it says in the Masoretic, you shall not go in there. So we can see Yah is very emphatic to Moses. You shall by no means, by any means, you will not enter there. That is a firm decision he's made. So you can see the seriousness, the tone of seriousness that Yah is using with Moses here. Verse 38, strengthen him. He's instructing Moses to strengthen him, Joshua, versus encourage him. They're kind of similar, but strengthen could mean not just encouraging with words, it can mean preparing him in other ways as well, practical ways, training him in other ways, not just verbally. Okay, 39. Moreover, your little ones was added, which you said should be a prey. So that was added. Um, verse 40, it says here, and you turned verses, but as for you, turn you, recounting past events. So we can see the difference here is in the Septuagint, Yah is recounting past events. He's saying, this is what you did in the past. You turned and you marched into the wilderness in the way by the Red Sea. So they were led there, and he's summarizing what happened, what you did there. But in the Masoretic, this isn't a recounting, a narration of past events. It's a direct command in the present. Okay. Um, however, I have to say this. However, it says the Masoretic is correct here. Actually, it says as seen in the next chapter, because this actually has not yet happened yet. This has not happened yet. So the Masoretic is correct here. I give credit there where it is due. Verse 41, and being gathered together, you went up to the mountain, versus you were ready to go up into the hill. So again, past tense in the Septuagint, the way it's being grammaticized here, versus future. It hasn't happened yet in the Maz. Verse 42, significant difference. Thus you shall not be destroyed before your enemies. So this is an instruction to not fight in order that they won't be killed. So if you obey, you will live, versus lest you be smitten before your enemies. So if you disobey, you die. So we see one's more positive. If you obey, blessing. The other one is if you do that again, you're gonna die. So you can see the tone is very kind of oppressive, really. It's like a negative parent. It's a parent that always looks at their child's faults, not saying, okay, if you obey me, you're gonna live. This is gonna give you this perk, this benefit, as opposed to if you screw up again, that's it, you're done. Do you get the difference there? That's what we've been reading since Genesis. This different, like a different God almost, different attitude, different perspective, different opinion on this people of Israel. That they're not as bad as a lot of people would think. They're very relatable. They're very human. They're impulsive people. Okay, like a lot of people are today. Verse 43, transgressed versus rebelled. Okay. Verse 43 again, forced your way, you forced your way versus you went presumptuously. Okay. So they enforced, actually, they did force their way. They forced their way. It's what it says in the Sept. Verse 44, wounded and wounded you versus destroyed you. So they weren't destroyed because they wouldn't exist. No, they were wounded. Their numbers were depleted. They were hurt. They were either injured, however it happened, whatever happened, they were not destroyed utterly. Last difference of this chapter, verse 45, and you sat down and wept before Yah our Elohim, or versus, and you returned. So they turned around and they went the other way. No, they sat down. That's what it says. Okay, so that's all I have for you for this first chapter of Deuteronomy. Looking forward to completing this book. We'll try to be more productive than normal. It's a challenge to do these videos because there are a lot of obstacles spiritually. I feel it in the air. I feel it in the media. I feel it in just everywhere that people, not people, it's like spirits, principalities don't want me to post these videos. Um, you would understand if you're in my position that there are lots of things that are going against this channel. So I just thank you very much for watching. Until next time, we'll look at Deuteronomy chapter 2. So thank you again. You've been watching Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Shalom and peace. The peace of our Father and Yeshua HaMashiach, Joshua the Anointed One, be upon you all. And may he make your way to prosper. Thank you very much. Till next time, peace.